Okay, so we are streaming. Now, what I need to check on is if everything is kind of restreaming. That's the million-dollar question. Is it working? Let's see here. All right, cool. I think it's working. Now, all right, cool.
Awesome.
Oh, Das Fire's #1. Yo, Das Fire, can you guys hear me? Because I'm doing something different today. So press a 1 if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Type the #1.
Can I? Because I know if I can hear you, I will be floored because that's insanely unfair. Because I had to download that friggin' program.
All right, everybody can hear me. We have a lot of people in the live stream today.
Cool.
I hope you guys
awesome.
like my background, guys. I know it's not the typical background, but I just figured if I'm going to be in front of a green screen, why not have a little fun? So, so what's going on, everybody? I don't know whose channel's who, so I'll start. You guys all know who I am. You know, my name is obviously KDubb, CryptoZombie, and today I have Alex from CryptoCandor and Brad, Blockchain Brad. I mean, amazing if you guys don't know who these guys are by now. So,
thanks for having us on, mate.
Yeah,
it's great.
This is fun. We've done the duel before, but now we're a triple threat over here.
Yeah, we're the dangerous trio. Watch out, Blockchain.
The best is the time change right now. So KDubb and I are in the same time frame, but you are like 14 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So great. I love it. So
the beauty of technology.
Yes, I know. This website's fantastic. Shout out to CryptoLark for the idea.
All right,
yes,
everybody on my end is saying hello.
Hi, Alex and Zombie. Hi. Oh,
hey,
I
guys.
think I'm getting your comments and mine, maybe.
Hold on. Can you guys hear the other guys? I have to take this out, or else they won't be able to hear. So
yeah, I think they can't hear. Oh, now we're gonna get
feedback. Got major feedback. The joys of lives. It's cool. Everyone gets it. We all have these moments.
Wait, maybe it's better now?
Can everybody hear?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, you're fine. There's no feedback now.
Everyone can hear everybody totally clear, no problems.
Yes, cool.
No problem.
I think we are all good to go now.
Great. That was a much simpler solution than I thought it would be. I was actually starting to sweat bullets over here. I actually started sweating. I got nervous. I was like, no, I'm going to ruin it all.
Yeah, your stress level makes me giggle.
Who has low volume? They're low or I'm low?
Could be me.
Could be me.
Let's see here. Hi, CryptoZombie, Blockchain. Hi, Crypto. I can hear. Okay, so everybody can hear. No feedback on my channel, so that's good news.
Can everyone hear me?
Can everybody hear Brad? This is hilarious. I love how the first 5 minutes is all just
I love that
tinkering.
Too. I love that you guys are running it too. So thank you both of you for doing that. I really
yeah,
appreciate that
of course.
I don't know how you guys switched the microphones to be better on this end. So.
You all sound great, everybody says. Something's
that's
frozen.
Awesome.
What's frozen?
Is it not me, I hope?
No, it's definitely not you. It's probably going to be me because I'm the one streaming. I don't know. Oh, well.
Well, thank you for everybody anyway for touching base with us.
Yeah. Thanks for popping in.
Awesome.
Did you hear that? One of my friends told me this because I don't follow the news as much as I should, that North Korea signed and South Korea signed a peace agreement on Ethereum.
I did not hear that. I mean, that's one of the things is I haven't been watching Kyle's channel enough with the news that he does every day.
Yeah, I've been making an effort to do that.
That's amazing. That's good because they're also, I heard, doing other stuff beyond just Ethereum, more in a political sense. So that's a good sign. Yeah,
there was some guy, he's a coder over there, and he felt like that, I guess, they had used it for other things in the past, and he thought it would be a good use case, obviously, because this war is like 54 years old or something like that, so that's pretty cool. But that just shows like random use cases for cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, it can have real world use case in terms of peace, potentially.
Yes.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
Bloody hell, need it.
Yeah, somebody on my end said my hair looks fine. What happened was it's like 81 degrees here in New York, and it was like 60 degrees 2 days ago, so I didn't get PC set up, and I'm like sweating like crazy, so I'm trying to get all tropical over here, guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm in a t-shirt. I'm normally cold, but I actually, it's been so hot the last 2 days that I'm comfortable enough to be in a t-shirt.
And I'm constantly with my tie on. I was born this way.
All right, so what does everybody want to talk about? Let us see what is going on. So what do you guys think about the markets in general? I mean, do you guys think that we're actually headed back up, or what is everything?
But I'm happy. Ethereum's back up over 700 today, and I just felt sort of at peace.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think that it just runs in cycles, as you guys know, and we're experiencing more of a happy moment, and that's just the way it is. We're not deluded though. We know that there's ebbs and flows.
Yes, of course. I mean, we've seen, you know, there was like it was 2 months of really, really down, and now it's going to bounce back for a little while. Everybody's going to get super positive about it, and just when everybody gets comfortable, it'll probably massively dip again. So
yeah. I think one of the big differences right now, though, is we're moving in a direction that sort of supports enterprise inclusion. So that is exciting because as we get into institutional money and marketplaces that are afforded by the blockchain and other ledger technology, that's going to change the game. So right now, we're so fortunate in 2018 because we are literally looking at a transformative tech. And we're right in the middle of it. So cool.
For sure. I mean, I had mentioned, I think I've mentioned this to both of you guys that, and I say it all the time in my videos or any live streams, that this is definitely, you know, once in a generation opportunity. You know, it's definitely,
totally agree.
It's definitely something that people aren't going to see for quite a while. And so I think it's pretty cool.
That's why, Alex, we need more people to support you so you can quit your job and do this full time.
Yes, please.
Yes. That's the plan.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Slowly but surely.
So, Brad,
what do you think, bro? Oh, you go, mate.
No. I just wanted to kind of interrupt you because you're kind of like the guy that
sorry.
always.
1 sec. I say I'll get this all the time.
So popular.
Sorry. Go for it, Kyle. I don't know how you turn off that.
No problem. We're only live.
Yeah, that's right.
So, okay, Brad, a lot of people in my Telegram, the biggest thing that they wanted me to talk about with you is, you know, you kind of get, you have like that insider, not like you're an insider, but you are very, you know, a lot of CEOs, man. I mean, you are just, you know, so many people. And like, what upcoming projects are you really excited for? Like, I know you were speaking about, we had talked about Quark Chain and Certic, and there were a few other ones. What are some that are on your radar?
Okay. Well, I thought you would ask me this pretty quickly, and I thought the audience would. So I wrote down 4 or 5. And I won't take heaps of time, but I did want to mention these names. So obviously CertiK, I will definitely explain a little bit if anyone wants to know more. I know you know some about it, Kyle. But also some others called Blocks Route. No. I would encourage you to look at that. So that's BLOX. I'll explain that a little bit. You know, for anyone, I can put it up as some information later on. Quant Network has already done done a part of its ICO already, but it's very, very interesting. Solana, it has piqued my interest in every way. And obviously, as Kyle said, Quark Chain. So there are some that I think are up and coming ones to explore. And I did want to say that not just me, but all of us, you know, Kyle and Alex as well, what we are all about is trying to get information for the people as early as possible, because knowledge truly is power. And that's exactly why we do it. And we hope that, you know, from our opportunity and to be able to go and explore these, that you really can be afforded with that information early. So big one for me right now literally is CertiK. And they're super exciting because what they're doing is they trying to protect smart contracts and essentially blockchain ecosystems in a way that really hasn't been done at this level. So right now we're looking at it like I think there's over 1 million smart contracts running on Ethereum alone. And what this system's trying to do is protect those so that it essentially is a system in place so that the client, you know, might be a business in some way, can really ensure that their smart contract is protected. So it gets really boring and really deep, but essentially these guys are the real deal. They, in my opinion, in terms of code, in terms of being a world first to decentralize what they call a proof engine, it's really interesting.
No, I mean, it's definitely important, like you said, with all of the smart contracts that are running on Ethereum to have some sort of insurance or backup or support or something, right? You know, and if it's going to keep growing, people are going to want more and more of that.
Yeah, and people don't even perhaps realize, but when you study it and you understand why they've even called it CertiK, it's because they're literally trying to certify, using a verification system, they want to certify these smart contracts. So that what happens is that the client can really rest assured, as Alex is saying, that they can get some sort of assurance via the blockchain, and sometimes not even blockchain, because it can afford for other technologies like self-driving cars. There's lots of cool stuff they're doing, but they're doing it in a way that's really efficient, unlike Bitcoin. So you guys know that, like, with the hashing costs of that, it's quite an expensive sort of exercise when it comes to inefficiency. But this is the opposite, and so they capitalize on that additional computational power, and they use that for other things. But yeah, what I do love is they have this ability to use like a mathematical proofing, and they reduce these computations down, and then they spit out smaller chunks. And by doing that, it makes it all possible to essentially do something new. And that is really provide for this, I guess, measure for clients to ensure that their smart contracts are safe and trustable in a trustless environment.
And that's hard to do that.
Yeah,
make something
really,
trustful in a trustless environment.
And the cool thing is it's proprietary tech, so they own the tech. And that's super important because whilst all of us are advocates for permissionless and permission designs, this one means that they have a stake in the game with real tech they own.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think we definitely need stuff like that. I mean, even if you guys saw the whole Quantstamp audit with the Binance, with the whole ERC20 issue that they were having, you know, eventually you're going to have so many smart contracts running on so many different platforms at so much time that somebody has to be paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, you don't bugs running rampant, spreading from one to another. I mean, because it's like it literally is like a virus, like a real life virus, like a disease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's one of
the thing is as well, like with these projects, one of the things that I would encourage others to do is really look at some of the partnerships that these companies are aligned with. So, for example, the NGC, the Neo Global Capital firm, they are heavily aligned with a.ka, and that just consolidates more the veracity or and applicability of this project because it has real world context and it's supported by a large entity. So, yeah, there's value points in knowing those connections early.
Absolutely. Speaking about Neo Global Capital, did you see they just slammed a huge investment into Moonlight as well? I don't know if anybody...
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that at all. Now, given the COZ connections, I thought it was going to come.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically the founders, and they just recently recruited Ethan Fast on the team as well. So you have Alan, Tyler, and Ethan now all working on it, and they formed a partnership with Thor. And then on top of that, you have Dean with VDT Network being one of their first customers, as well as NOS. It's the Neo ecosystem is very, you know, for a while, a lot of people were asking me, like, what's going on with Neo? There's not much news coming out. And I'm like, just wait for the next month. Because there's
and then they've got ontology indirectly. And I say that, you know, very loosely because they are separate, and that's important, we know. But there's definite ties in terms of like reciprocal support for ontology and Neo. So yes, I agree 100%. Neo's been in sort of not in the forefront of our mindset lately because of various reasons, even from a technological standpoint. But these particular projects are actually going to uplift Neo, I think, and really allow it to become a very fundamental platform, particularly in Asia, where it, you know, was born. So again, even Hongfei would say this is a global, you know, initiative and something he wants to build out. I agree, but I also think that enterprise solutions right now in very different contexts is what we need to look at. And we can talk more about those later, but enterprise is always at the forefront of my mind because money is what drives business, and business should drive decentralized blockchain. Yeah,
I actually sort of am embarrassed to admit that I don't know enough about what's going on in Neo's ecosystem. I don't really follow it. I hold some, and I do like the project, and I think it's definitely got potential, and I'm sort of seeing it as a hedge for Ethereum, but I haven't spent enough time really looking into projects that are building on it, like Ontology, because I know KDubb how pro Ontology you are. But no, I mean, I should spend some more time on it, and it's like you said, because it was born, you know, in Asia, it's going to have more of an impact in Asia, which there's a massive population of people and businesses and things over there, so that's important.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting too because they're closed environments. Sorry, Carl, I'll shut up in a minute. But China, well, the interesting thing is with China is that they will tend to really support and advocate for their own projects and tech. So in the instance of Ontology, for example, there might be a Western counterpart for that, but it's unlikely that they'll have the same adoption. So that's why I agree with you, Alex, 100%, is that taking notice and taking stock of what's happening in Asia really just supports, you know, potential interest of, let's say, for example, the mainstay, and that's China. But I don't underestimate Korea either. They're doing some amazing things.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys know I'm huge on Icon, so we do know that. The thing is, I don't take sides. You know, to me, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do tend to gravitate more towards Eastern projects. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about them. They come across some. They have a professionalism to them. I don't know what it is about them. They just seem to really focus a lot on the projects, you know. Whereas some of these others, you see a lot of the white paper promises, you know, like the roadmap. You know, don't worry, we'll get to that kind of thing. And you know, I just like that these other projects are really, you know, they're really stepping up and they're doing stuff. But as far as somebody was asking on here, and you also brought it up, Ontology is only on the Neo net for just for like now. They're forming their own main net. They're doing their own thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Like in theory, Ontology could eventually host, you know, their own dApps, their own. They have their whole own system going on. So
well, they're an entirely different design because they're an architecture for, and a lot of people misunderstand it too. They think of it as like this trust network and KYC, and it's actually way more than that. It affords for cross-chain, cross-platform, cross-protocol. It's a really full-on. Think of it like a government architecture, you know, and then you've got all these senates, you know, seats. And they essentially can act as blockchains or protocols. So it's really the skeleton for potential of what can be sort of interoperable and interactive. So it is totally different. It is not even really, I wouldn't even argue it as a blockchain per se. It is really an engine for trust in the trustless environment. Neo, on the other hand, has a direct conduit of interest, and that's important. So Alex is partially right in that there is a strong link, and Hongfei owns both, and that's important to know.
Oh, okay. That is important to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're a plethora of knowledge, Brad.
Oh, Brad.
Not really.
Brad is crazy. That's why I wanted to have Brad on the channel, because I get so many questions and they go into the technicals of it. And I'm just like, I'm just reading the white paper along with you guys right now. So
well, that's good. You can check.
A lot of people, I'm going to fact check you right now. Make sure
you're better.
A lot of my, I mean, as far as my talk about competitors to blockchain, like what, like Hashgraph and stuff like that?
That's a great question. That's an awesome question.
DAG stuff.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, there's so much. I mean, we've spent so much time. We've put so much time into blockchain, and now you have all these other new things coming out. I mean, I really haven't had a ton of time to look into it because honestly, most of my time is spent researching actual crypto projects that are utilizing blockchain right now. You know, like I get interested in the coins now. Now, you get those two sides. You get the people that are only interested in making the money, and then you get the people that are interested in the tech. And it's difficult to balance that because there are really good opportunities to make money in crypto. But at the same time, there's also really amazing projects that you know are going to go long term. And one of the things that I like to stress on my channel, I know it's a little non-techy for you guys, but this is what excites us, is you can kind of utilize those smaller cap projects, maybe even with the hype, whatever it is. And as long as you keep funneling it into the not really blue chips, but you know what I'm saying? The ones that you know, like for me personally, my ones that I really see right now, you know, I like Neo, Icon, Elastos is great. I love Elastos. I think people are very
nagging me to cover that.
Yeah, you got to. I'll link you up with some very important people in there. But you got to.
Okay.
It's good.
So, also some of the big ones right now, everyone's really excited about Holochain. Has anybody looked into Holo?
Yeah. I got a request for that too, and I made not the mistake. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to offend anybody, but I tweeted asking for people to send me coins or projects that aren't like a fork or a recreation of a project that's already in existence, right? Because I'm like, I'll go down like CoinMarketCap and I'm like, oh, like this is a currency, this is a platform, this is doing this, and it's like everything was redundant, and I've got a bunch of random stuff, and one of them was Holochain.
Well, it's interesting that you said that because what Kyle was saying, because it's one of those examples of where it's, you know, really caught us all off guard, all three of us, in the sense that my understanding is it's already on exchange now, and it's gone arguably 7x or something like that. And in that respect, you know, I agree with you, Kyle, is that the market is such that, those who do the technical analysis, sure, that's great, but I'm not necessarily a huge fan. And the reason is because of the volatility factor. I think it's such a nascent system, a nascent technology itself, that it's much better to do a more fundamental analysis. And with these projects, sometimes you see them have these huge spikes in value. And there's nothing wrong with those people who choose to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
My personal position is to hodl. For the most part, because that's an investment in essentially the belief of blockchain. And I'm really big on the tech, obviously. So I want to make sure that I'm cognizant of its value longitudinally. But doesn't mean we're going to be stupid and not see the value short-term in some projects.
Well, that's the thing. You know, I mean, listen, let's be real, okay? Let's not So when I first got involved, I was heavily into the tech, and I still am. Maybe I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder, okay, but I understand, and I've tried my best to understand it the best that I can. Now, when I first got involved, for me, it was like all about, the fundamentals, right? And then I started realizing that that's not really the whole key. If you want to profit from the market, if you want to actually make money, which, let's be real, a lot of us are here for that reason, then you have to learn to think like these whales think. And unfortunately, you do see that dark side of the industry. I've got to meet some people. I've got to talk to some people. Now, I'm not going to throw any names out there, but when these people talk to me and they basically tell me, yeah, I don't really care about the tech. I just care that I was able to slam this much into it this early. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have to be honest. These people are out there. This is real. So that's why I say take advantage of their, manipulation, take advantage of their FOMO, and then take that and put it into the ones that that are going to last. Because let's be realistic here. If this thing does blow up and it's done and it's over and it's a crash and it all burns to the ground and it's a bubble, you really want to be holding the ones, like I always say, that are going to like shoot up like the phoenix from the flames. Not every coin is going to survive. Not every project is going to survive. So, be smart. There's a lot of us that don't. Okay, like for example, when you're dealing with things like Ontology or even Neo or these projects or EOS or, Ethereum that have these gigantic market caps, the average person can't really make enough gains off of their average, income, their average investment, unless they're able to get in ICOs, which unfortunately us in the US, we're screwed.
Yeah.
We can't, I mean, you're Australian, you can do whatever you want. Myself and Alex, I mean, I'm horrified of getting into one of these pools where I have to give my information away. And then later, my government comes out and says, hey, guess what? That's illegal. And, you're either getting a fine or you're in jail. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that,
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is as well, like I really like what you're talking about and being real. That's one of the reasons why I really enjoy talking with both of you without any BS, because firstly, it's really hard to find people who are going to be transparent and credible in this space. Even in the influencer space, there's a lot of BS. And in that context, sometimes we see people shilling the crap out of a project and not looking at its, coupling of its tech value and its long-term, business value as well. That being said, I do think that once again, this particular opportunity for those kind of shillers is transient. People in the SEC and even people beyond that are actually working on trying to reduce those opportunities so that eventually the ICO will become much more of this privatized system. I would think. Much more inaccessible for those who want to simply, pump and dump, for those who want to really manipulate the system. And the reality is that is happening. There is definitely that element of manipulation inside, and it's ironic because we are advocates for a decentralized system, and yet there are elements of centrality in it.
People who are gaming the system, yeah.
And so, that's why I think it's important to reframe what we're doing as well, to really introduce the credibility, inject that back in so that people who are at the front line of investment and support, or supporting utility, I should say, they can access the best quality information. Because at the end of the day, it's our parents, it's our relatives that could potentially invest in this, and I don't want to thwart it in any way. I just want to get real and say this tech can actually work, or this can't, and the majority of them are just BS and can't.
Well, that's actually good, because somebody asked me a question. Do you guys think that realistically all these coins or tokens will survive and be useful in the long term, 10+ years, or that we'll eventually have only a few major coins or tokens? I think that there's a lot of stuff that's definitely going to be weeded out, and there's going to be, when those opportunities start to fall back, like what you're talking about with ICOs, and it becomes more privatized, and there's less of this shilling 10x opportunity, I think that's going to weed out a lot of projects too, just because it's not going to make financial sense for anybody to try to do these things. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be, I'm really interested. I wish I could just like fast forward quickly and see like what everything looks like in 5 years, because it could go just 1,000 different ways. So I'm definitely really interested.
Well, I kind of look at it like the number of businesses that are already appending to the system, and it's tiny compared to the market potential. So I'm really looking at a different perspective, but I do agree with Alex in that there's a huge, potential for businesses to utilize blockchain. And in that respect, there's certainly opportunities to capitalize on that, because remember that at the end of the day, the majority of people in the public domain are not going to know or see or experience blockchain in any shape or form. It's going to be like this invisible underpin layer for fundamental operations in business. So I still think for those who are willing to take the time to learn about it, it's very, very lucrative and very, very valuable. But again, it's that knowledge is the power, and being able to isolate those that have that value point is the hardest thing to do. And it's the thing that ironically, a lot of people don't want to do.
Yeah.
They just want to know the tokenomics and get on board. But honestly, that will gradually change because we'll have to spend more time to really understand core value.
Yeah, one of the things on my channel that it never ceases to amaze me is, you know, I talk about the projects that are popular, right? Everyone's happy. I'll throw in a project that's not that popular, no one's talking about it, it's under the radar, right? So it either gets absolutely no views, no interest, or I get accused of being paid to put a particular video out, right? Now, I'm not trying to like put myself on a pedestal because Brad, I mean, you have covered projects months before they've come out. But, you know, if you look back at some of the things, like I've spoken about Zebi 2 months ago, or a month ago. And now back then I remember everybody like, oh yeah, how much they pay you to do this and blah, blah, blah. Now look at where it is, right? And then you look at these other projects talking about Icon when it was 44 cents when it hit BTC. I did a review on DML, decentralized machine learning, right? No one really paid attention. Now it's like on the top ICO list everybody's talking about, you know? And getting back to what you said earlier, Brad, I think that what I really want to do with this channel is I want to have or just with all of our channels in general, I want to increase the knowledge, increase the community, but I also want people to have an opportunity, like you said, to get involved in something before it explodes.
Exactly.
But I want to provide them with the good. I don't want to just be like, oh, you know, it's going to get shilled and, you know, it's got a big marketing team, so get involved. No, I want to give people an opportunity to really make their money go farther because let's be real. Most of us are working a day job. You know what I'm saying? We have so much we can afford. You know, I did something stupid years ago. I went all in, last year. And I recommend doing that. I got lucky. I did. But I remember how valuable, you know, that $200 was to me when I put it in, you know, and when I would see my coin dropping because I follow some shill channel, I'm like, what the heck, man? You know, and half the reason that I started a channel was because like, I was like, I'm tired of this. Somebody needs to bring the facts. And then that's why I saw Brad's channel, you know, Tyler from ChicoCrypto. I know he's doing a live stream right now. I would have loved to have Tyler on tonight.
That would have been fun.
So you guys, I think it's community.
See, I actually get the opposite effect. So obviously, like, I'm transparent about the fact that I cover ICOs or I do interviews. And when I do an interview, it's a paid interview. I tell everybody that I've got nothing to hide. But, you know, I screen all the projects. I could get 10, 15 emails a week. Maybe I cover one project a month because I'm genuinely looking for stuff that I like. So like with the Seal Network that I just did, I love the project. I think it's awesome. And I get people thinking that I'm biased and I'm shilling the project because I was paid for it. If I was already paid for it, I have less of an incentive to talk about it, right? If I was paid for it and that was done, it was a one-time transaction, you would think they would be like, oh, well, if she's still talking about it, she's still promoting the project, then she must like it. But
it's this constant anomaly that we've all faced with. The reality is that everyone has to gear themselves in any industry and anywhere in the world to suit their own morals and ethics. But also, more importantly, is there's this stigma, and it just has to be addressed and redressed, I think. And it's that, you know, suddenly if you do, you know, as it's any form of compensation in any way, we've seen this with some examples of others that I won't name, but there's certainly like a form of, like, there's immediately rebuke, an immediate response, and it's quite reactive. And what I will say openly and publicly is that I endeavor constantly to be free as a service. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to simply just continue to do that and not be able to feed my kids or to, you know, not be able to support my family. And I thought a lot about this, and that the reality is that there has to be a mechanism in place for those who quit our jobs, like me, like Kyle, and find a way to do this ethically. So right now I am free. Every single time I do an interview, and I advocate in absolute transparency. I do say to them, look, if you ever want to support my channel for me to continue this for the people, thank you. But I never say to them, you know, this is what I cost and this is what I'm worth. It's just not the way. But at the same time, I really want to reframe people's thinking as much as I can personally do and get them to think about the context of people who quit their jobs to give quality information and not bullshit. There's a big difference.
Yeah, no, and it's hard too because, like I said, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You don't get paid, and you cover projects. People still think you're getting paid, you're biased, and then if you do get paid and you cover projects, then I can't talk about a project afterwards because I'm definitely biased because I got paid for it. So it's like there's no way to win, and it's frustrating because like I said, again, the projects that I talked to, the people that I interview, it was like, BlockNet, Hoskinson, like that's not me shilling. Those are people that I think are smart and I value and I want to talk to, so,
Right.
I mean, it
And
is
also,
what it is.
and the thing is, the leading speakers in our industry of blockchain influence, let's say, they are certainly disclosing when they do sponsored content, but they are also trying to be objective in many instances. And that's the thing. It's trust. Ironically, again, in this trustless environment, it's ensuring that people can trust. And what I can say is that I really align myself with those people that I think are the most trusted and the most credible, and I'll stick with that 100%. And that's exactly why I talk to both of you. Truly, it's why.
Well, I appreciate it. And I've told you both that it's nice to have an alliance of people that I can talk to and know that you guys are upfront and honest, and it's definitely hard to find in this kind of niche of things. So it's cool. I'm grateful that we've all sort of clicked.
It's definitely difficult. I mean, obviously, I'm very transparent with my group. I don't really go into it too much, but I mean, realistically, I wake up every morning. I have about 15 emails of random coins I've never heard of. Their white paper is basically non-existent. Their website looks like a pile of garbage, and they're willing to pay me an ungodly amount to talk about their coin.
Right.
So no.
Well, that's the thing too. People don't realize, like, we don't take every project that comes along.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is like, for me, I'm actually like, I invest. I tell people that. So I'm open with my trades. I mean, I told everybody, I put about let me check my portfolio. I think it was roughly 15% of my portfolio into Zebi, around 10 cents. I'm not shilling it. I did it. I'm telling you, I did it. You know
and
that.
And that was still a risk for you personally to choose to do that. So it's good that it's good that you made that choice, obviously, right now. But it's great, even better, you were transparent about it.
Well, because what happens if everybody else does it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At least I could be right there along with them. I mean, I was a huge proponent of A-Chain. But unfortunately, when I was looking into A-Chain, it was at that really bad time where it just had the pump because of the ABTC. Everybody was just trying to get some free money, and the market was taking a dump. So unfortunately, I was buying in at 60 cents thinking to myself, like, this is a great deal because this thing was up at $1.25, and now we're back down to 30. But as you've seen, it's growing. So it's tough because a lot of these YouTubers that, and not like you, Brad, but some of the other ones that came out before me, yeah, it's really easy to pump coins in a market that's going up. I mean, I could literally talk about any coin when the market's going up, and I'm a hero. Thank you. You made me so much money, KDubb. But the thing is like, I stuck it out. I started my channel right during a bear market, okay? You know how hard that was to literally, like, every day you got up and you'd be so excited and you were just constantly losing money.
Yeah.
Every day.
And yet people are still listening and valuing what you say. And what's interesting is both of you are some of the fastest growing channels in the space right now, which is to your credit. And even more incredible, Alex is doing a 40-hour job, which is crazy, and achieving this. So remarkable achievement, really, truly impressive. But I think, at the end of the day, Kyle, like, what I want to say, and people ask me this all the time, is that they say, oh, Brad, you must have got paid a fortune from Neo and Ontology. And the reality is that's just absolute bullshit, because I got paid zero in both instances, and I'm really proud of that. I did all of that work for free to support those companies because I believed in their tech. And would I do that long term? No way in hell, because that's stupid. That is like setting yourself up to just, be bankrupt, because, you got to support. I was lucky. I supported myself doing that. But what I'm saying, and I just want to be really frank, or really, really candid to support Alex there with CryptoCandor, is just we need to get real in this space and recognize it's okay. It's okay to step up and represent companies you bloody believe in.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. We study a lot to make sure that we qualify with the information. We're not going to always get it right. But for the most part, it's the study and it's the collective of knowledge that we as a group can get and garner. That's really going to inject positivity into this space and remove that negative element of shilling and bullshit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow, that was really deep. I feel like that was so deep. I feel like everybody's like, I feel like everyone's just like having. All right, we should talk about some projects though. Honestly, yeah. We should talk about projects because let's be real, people are watching this because they care about projects. So
right.
Oh, Candor, Alex, you just did a phenomenal coverage on Neblio.
Oh, thank you.
Would you mind just explaining a little bit, because Neblio is I looked at Neblio and this was like months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And
so
you just like
basically, I actually, when I first started looking over the project, somebody had mentioned to me in passing, and I wasn't very interested in it because I thought, well, Lisk is doing almost the same thing. basically what Neblio is doing is they are Lisk, but with like 7 other coding languages. So they're creating platforms in which you can code and create entry-level applications and things like that right on the blockchain, but it doesn't require you to learn like Solidity like Ethereum does or anything crazy like that. You just, I think they are supporting 9 different coding languages. So they're basically just like Lisk, but way more advanced. And I have to say that their community is extremely friendly. They were really nice. I don't always stay in like the Slack or the Telegram group that I'm in when I'm asking questions after the video, because most of the time I don't really need to. But them, I've kept it there, and I go in and I chat once in a while because everybody's really nice. And they were all good at answering my questions. Everybody was receptive. So, and that's a big thing for me too. Like, I've covered projects that they're like, oh, say this, say that. No, I'll say what I want. I'm just asking questions. I need the information. You're not going to put words in my mouth, but and I liked them because they're honest and nice people from what I've spoken to. But the project, I think, if it can achieve more adoption, it's definitely, I think it's going to take off because of the fact that it's so easy to use.
And Alex, someone very credible supported that very early on. That was Nick. It was Data Dash. You know, he was really an advocate for Neblio. Did some great work on it, actually. And I remember looking at that time. So I think, you know, it's certainly an interesting project for sure. Another one, as we mentioned before, to look into is Quark or Quark Chain, depending on how you pronounce it. It's really interesting, and I genuinely mean this because if you go in and check out their white paper, it'll show you a really simple, like a flow chart, or not really that. It's more of a chart that shows you comparatives with other projects. And if you think about scaling, I mean, to be honest, we're so sick of hearing a million TPS from every bloody, you know, new scaling solution. But this one is not saying it's doing it now. I want to make that really clear. They are letting people know that it's possible and it's plausible given their tech. But fundamentally, what they are trying to do is essentially build out this capacity without reducing the security, which has been the challenge. So the best competitor I can tell you right now is Zilliqa. In many instances, both are sharding solutions for enterprise marketplaces. Yeah. So this one's different though, in that it really addresses how you build in security without devaluing speed as well. Yeah, because that's hard to do.
Zilliqa was actually a bit of an intellectual struggle for me because I didn't understand sharding, and I'd heard about it with Ethereum, and I wanted to know more about it, which is the majority of the reason I covered the project to begin with. But I mean, I love the concept, and I get it at like face value, but like in a deep technical way, I don't think I fully understand it. I just know that it's extremely important for scaling, and I know that that's obviously a priority at this point. So, and they're doing sharding that's different than Ethereum, right? They're doing like transactional instead of like something else.
Exactly. Quark Chain are doing a 2-layer system. So if you think about sharding as like partitioning data, that's what they do. So they break it down so that they separate it so that you're not compromising the computational pressure. So if you think of it like with the Quark Chain, they've got a root chain and then they've got sharding layers. And by doing that, without going too technical, it just means that they can be faster without compromising their root chain security. And that's really cool if they pull it off. And their team, it looks bloody good.
Yeah, I think sharding is a good solution. I like what it does. It basically just kind of like dictates certain responsibilities to small packets of nodes so that they don't all have to deal with it at the same time. And actually, now I'm just speaking because I literally just did something on this, but if you guys look at kind of like what you were saying, Brad, was with what Fusion is doing, they actually have a proof of work, proof of stake hybrid. So essentially what happens is, so the node gets randomly selected at the bottom.
Right.
So it's impossible to trick the system. The node is randomly selected, and then it goes up to a second tier, and then that node is basically a representative of all the nodes in the bottom tier. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great concept because a lot of people, they're trying to say like, well, you know, Fusion versus WAN chain. They're not exactly the same thing, but like you were saying, I really do appreciate that type of consensus mechanisms, and that's the kind of stuff that really intrigues me is consensus, because we want it to be fair, we want it to be just, we want it to be right. You know what I mean? And that's the best part of decentralization. So, yes.
And you can't really get better than the original consensus algorithms, because provability doesn't get better than the original Bitcoin, design. And I'm an agnostic. I'll be really clear when it comes to the Bitcoin family of projects and startups. But I will say that in terms of provability, you have an excellent technology model already there, and if you can extrapolate that or build upon that to provide for better scaling, I think that's a great hybrid system, and we're certainly seeing that in many different startups right now, especially the ones that piqued my interest. Even in the space of interoperability, and you were alluding to this with WenChain, Kyle. There's some really cool ones coming, and what they're doing is that, like you all know, that there's an alliance between WenChain and Aeon and Icon, and that's an exciting alliance, informal, formal, whatever.
And,
but there is
Kyber in the background too.
Kyber.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know that it was those original three, but Kyber's being used as the decentralized, in the background of Icon and stuff like that. So I just want to
and they're really awesome because Kyber's already very prominent in other blockchains. But without going too long in this, I did want to say that look for the new interoperables, what I call the true interoperables. They are the ones that don't actually interlink with a specific blockchain. So to be clearer, if you think of Aeon has a blockchain called Aeon 1. Many people don't know that, but it's a direct sort of link to the interoperability features of Aeon. And so there is a reliance on this specific ecosystem, and then if you have an alliance beyond that with other ecosystems, like we mentioned, then that can be really, beneficial as they build out in the global setting. But then you have ones that don't actually do that, and they run on more what's called a TCP/IP layer, more like a neutral layer or a bedrock layer, and they can truly interoperate. Regardless scalability, regardless of functionality, regardless of which blockchain, they are the true interoperables. And there's some coming right now that are really doing that.
Which ones, in your opinion, do you think are leading?
Well, the interesting thing is that some are more skewed to the permissioned and some are more permissionless. But I'm interested in things like OneLedger, Overledger, which is the quant network, looking at those specifically and how they'll sort of build out their position in enterprise particularly. And the reason why is because I've strongly looked at their interconnections with business now. So for me personally, I have to see that they have connections with the business and real world for them to really play out and have a strong position. So yeah, one of my tips, people don't necessarily like the tokenomics of it, but for me, it's that long-term position, and Quant Network does have that for me. And then there are others that are doing some cool stuff like Constellation Labs, R-Chain, Morpheus Labs. If you go and look at those, they are fundamentally trying to be this blockchain glue, to try and be this solution where they can essentially, if you think of it like the brain, they want to interconnect all the nodes so the brain lights up. That's what we want to see, because we want to see a decentralized smart web.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we have to do essentially, is we have all these genius projects working on their own little planets. So we need to figure out how we're going to make everything kind of work together in this like interchained web.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do, these ones.
What's actually kind of crazy is if you really take it back to like the majority though, like the majority of coins that we have now, they're either basically based on rootstock or, essentially Ethereum. So everything that you can look, if you take Bitcoin and you just go forward, right? You have Bitcoin, you have Litecoin, you have all the Zcash, Zclassic, Bitcoin private forks, all that. Then you also have Komodo, right? Now, I recently had an opportunity to speak with Komodo, and I asked them on a real level. I was like, listen, because I went out to the Block Nation thing, and I said, okay, maybe I've been a little over judgmental on Komodo, right? Like I assumed that because Bitcoin can only do so many transactions per second, that essentially Komodo would be an inferior type blockchain. But what you actually begin to realize is that most of these, like, okay, you talk about enterprise solutions and stuff like that, right, Brad? But as far as TPS and transactions per second, which tends to be like one of the hottest topics, you don't really need that many transactions per second for most of the basic, like, okay, what are you talking, like insurance? Where do you need high throughput?
Visa.
Visa, MasterCard, maybe Facebook. Facebook does like I think it was somewhere between 74,000 and like 136,000. That's it.
Right.
So you don't really need that. And the truth is you can actually create multiple chains, kind of like what Elf is doing, what Lisk is doing, and those chains communicate each other. So if you run out of throughput and it gets too full, you just make another chain. You know what I mean? So it's not complicated. It's not like it can't be done. It's just a matter of, at some point, if we have all these different chains, we need that interoperability between them. And I think that moving forward, essentially, you want to get these data islands to start communicating with each other. And I think once they solve that problem, then the whole ecosystem is just going to come together. It's all going to find sense. We're confused. And
there's two things, bro, going on right now, and that is your initial compliance measures for blockchain projects. And then from there, it's how do we then integrate this system, as you were saying. So I agree with you 100%, or actually a billion% if we want to be fun with TPS, because the reality is you don't need it. We're looking at, use cases and applications. Right now, it's still not quite there for enterprise, but we are moving very fast in that direction. So, what I would say is that look for enterprise readiness, look for those who are ready to, utilize these in MVPs. When they start to apply these and mix with mainstream businesses, that gets really exciting, because it's not a case of just simply new projects starting. It's actually old business transforming into the new as well. And they're doing that a lot of the time behind the scenes with private blockchain and consortiums, like we're doing for banking, for example. They've got a very privatized system called Corda. It's a very unique protocol system. They've got Quorum, which is another one that Hyperledger is also doing their own with Fabric and many others, Sawtooth. And as we build out, we want to ensure that the permission public domain has a space and a voice as well, because we don't want to see that the whole system gears from the top down and we just lose this whole point of decentralization.
Exactly. Can I just interject? Everyone keeps wishing me happy birthday on my channel. It's not my birthday, guys. I don't know who's starting this joke over here, but everybody keeps saying happy birthday. So
my birthday's on the 22nd, so I'll just pretend that everybody's wishing me a happy birthday.
Your birthday,
happy birthday
on the 22nd?
Yeah.
So you mind if we kind of shift gears a little bit? I have a question for Alex.
Hit me.
You ready?
Go.
So people want to know what your opinions are on all these privacy coins, because you did all that coverage. I forgot where it was, but they were saying Deep Onion compared to...
Oh, God. Okay, so I have a whole... All right. So I thought that Deep Onion was like a BitConnect coin, because there was like a 30-day period that all of my comments, like every other comment on my video, was Deep Onion this, Deep Onion that. And I'm like, I'd never heard of the project. I'd never seen anybody talk about it. I knew nothing about it. So I'm like, all right, this has got to be like a Ponzi scheme coin. So I never ended up looking into it. And then recently I found out that it's actually a project, like it's actually a privacy coin, but I think they just use like a Tor routing kind of situation. They don't use like an actual like protocol within itself. Privacy coin wise, out of everything that I looked through, I still love PIVX. I love PIVX because I love the community, and I love that they're trying to create like a culture. It's more than just a coin. It's like they have a whole thing going for them. And they're exceptionally friendly, and they're great. Like if you have issues with your wallet, you have questions about the tech, you can go in and someone will be in there to answer your question immediately. And that to me is just as important as having useful tech, because if you have someone that needs a question answered and you can't answer it, they're going to leave your project. So I like them because of that. And then Zencash is my second now new love. I actually, embarrassingly enough, I admitted that when Hoskinson was on my channel, he released the information about the Zencash partnership with IOHK. At the time, I didn't know who Zencash was, and I was kind of overwhelmed with the fact that I was interviewing Hoskinson, so I didn't pay much attention, and I forgot to look into it. But I ended up doing those privacy coin compared video, and I found that I really like Zencash because of the fact that they're trying to create the publication. They want to do the coin. They want to be able to do Zen Hide. There's like other, like they're making like platforms of other things to do that are privacy related, which is important. And I like the fact that their secure nodes are cheap. Like you can run a node for 42 Zen, which right now is like, I want to say like $2,000 comparatively to like Dash, which is astronomically expensive to run a node. But those are my two privacies that I like, but I don't really know much about like the other obscure ones. There's another one like Zone.
I love the one you're talking about because it's even backed by Berkeley. You know, with Zencash, there's a lot of research happening with Alessandro Chiesa. It's got some real deal academics behind it too, Alex, and I love that. I think that when you see that kind of degree of input from that side, it just really supports the quality of its application as well. So it's worth looking into.
If IOHK is going to work with them, then they must be, a smart, relatively well-researched back project that takes their information that they're giving out very seriously, because I don't think Hoskinson would, take IOHK and be like, hey, let's back this group if they weren't passionate and intelligent and driven.
Right. And the thing as well, we never talked about compliance, but what do you guys think about that? Because clearly there's some amazing projects coming out that are addressing KYC. And that is so bloody important, because if you don't have good KYC blockchain projects, there's no way that all the other enterprise systems are going to work. So my tip is to look into Sovereign. Another one, look into, I was literally talking to yesterday, called TraceTow. Seriously, look into these that are doing KYC. If you love ontology, you should love these, because they all address issues of KYC.
Yeah, no,
indirectly or directly.
Yeah, actually, one thing I do, what I like about a lot of these newer ICO models is they're finally like realizing this whole like giving all the whales the power, you know, the pre-sale. Like, did you guys see that Telegram ICO? How they actually shut it down? It was it raised $1.7 billion, and there were only 200 accredited investors that got involved in it. Like,
that's insane.
Oh yeah, like I totally want to buy that coin after 200 people have acquired $1.7 billion worth of an ICO. I mean, that literally puts it like in the top 10.
Whale City.
Yeah, I think that maybe the top 10. I don't know. So there's no way that I would get involved in that. No. Somebody getting back on the privacy coin, they said Monero is the king. I don't know. Do you guys know?
I think that there's always going to be a role for Monero because it's entirely 100% private. There's no, there's no option for transparent transactions. It's only privacy. And there's, with libertarians and people that are very, very specific about the way the world should work, there's always going to be a niche for Monero. I don't think those forks are really going to go anywhere, but I don't think Monero is going anywhere. That being said, long term, in order for a project to be adopted, I see Zencash as having, both the option of private and public transactions to be important, and there's still, there's still valid privacy. It's not like it's going to get cracked and all your information is going to get leaked. So, and Monero, honestly, their wallet and their everything is so slow. I had a little bit of Monero that I sold a couple months ago, and it took me ages to get the wallet synced. It took me forever to send it, and then I couldn't figure it out because there's like 2 different addresses and all these other things that you need to add, and it was just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
But it's not user friendly.
I've actually never tried a transaction in my life. For me, as far as privacy coins are concerned, I guess the whole thing was I never really got involved in them because I didn't have a need for them. Although I do understand that, they still are investments. I get it. But I didn't really have a need to hide anything, which sounds kind of stupid. So I kind of overlooked it for a while.
Well, a lot of people do.
It was more the premise of, those who are the libertarians, those who want to be the maximalists and support the ideal. Just like Bitcoin itself, it represents essentially what the white paper is. But me personally, I'm a realist, so I look at the interconnection between business. For me, it drives everything. So if there are big parties like governments and big enterprises inferring through directly or indirectly that they are not going to support, something like Monero, I pay attention to that because that drives that niche market into a special group.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I am a huge proponent of that kind of libertarian thing, approach, but I just don't think it's the reality.
Yeah, no, I understand. I get what you guys are saying. Let's see what anybody's saying. Anything on anybody? Well, Brad, you don't have a channel up right now.
Let's see. What are people saying to me? CryptoCandor, will you please cover some young privacy coins that have decent upward potential? I can certainly look into it. Verge, Cloakcoin. I've heard of Cloakcoin. Verge I will not be covering because I assume that in some capacity people use my videos to make maybe an educated decision to invest in something, even though I always say the disclaimer not to do so, and I wouldn't feel comfortable covering Verge because I don't trust the project. Just saying.
I mean, see, I'll be real. I never looked into like the hardcore tech of Verge. I mean, I know that they're utilizing Tor and all that.
Just Tor, really.
But I know you could have made a lot of money if you bought Verge. I remember Verge was trading for fractions upon fractions upon fractions of a penny when I first got into crypto. And my kind of big introduction was when John McAfee had that original tweet. When he kind of started his rampage, his thing where he was like, I'm going to do like $150,000 per tweet, which is insane. I don't even know how you can get that kind of money. I guess you have to be him. And that was what kind of got me to look at it. So then I looked into Verge as one of the coins. I actually used to own Verge a little bit back in the day. Very, very, very small percentage. I had minimal gains. Sold it. Obviously, what happens in crypto, you sell, boom, to the moon. You always miss, the boat. You always feel like...
Yeah, that's always the way it works.
Does anybody else out there ever feel like crypto is designed just for you? Like you ever feel like as soon as you sell,
The price
like
goes up.
the
Yeah,
body
I do.
top twins, and they're just like, what? He sold? Pump it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Oh, it's worse when you look at the metrics and you think, oh, it can't go really any higher. This is the best time to sell. And then you just sell and it goes, it completely confounds you because it didn't do what the market should do.
That's
And
why I
everyone,
stopped trading.
you
yeah,
guys want to hear an honest thing I've never admitted to anyone on my channel?
Shoot.
bring it.
Well, you guys know I hold a lot of Neo. I was clearly airdropped Ontology. I went to the DevCon. I did not sign up for the mailing list like an idiot because I'd be $8,000, or no, actually $10,000 richer according to today's.
Insane. It's insane.
So when we were talking about Ontology on my channel. When Ontology went to like that $5 mark,
Yeah,
that's enough. And I sold a portion of it, right? You never sell it all, but I sold a good chunk of it.
me too.
And then the price went back up and I was just like, oh my goodness. But you know what though? Like I tell people, always be safe because you don't know. So there's nothing wrong with taking out your initial investment.
Yeah.
At all.
No,
You know,
should really do that. I don't do it that often, but you should. Smart people would do that.
Personally, I think if you can, get back your original investment, then the rest is all just,
Fun money.
it's monopoly. Yeah, it's fun money. So I agree with you, Kyle, 100%. Don't be afraid to get your money back.
Right, because then you're just playing with free money and you could sleep better at night. Like, one of the things that I used to have the biggest problems with, now I used to, I don't want to say too much on the channel because I don't want to call out other YouTubers, but there were some other YouTubers.
I will, because I happily will. Don't worry, I'll do that for you.
Brad, please, this is on my channel. Just keep it. I don't listen. We're here for community. But there are some YouTubers that I used to follow heavily that would give me tips, and I would listen. And I would buy into these pumps. I'd wake up the next day, half my money's gone. And it's stupid me. I did it again and again and again. And after like the third time, I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. And getting back to like what I said, that's why I started a channel, because I was tired of people doing this. Like, how sick is it that you've built up a following, you have all these people that trust you, and you use them to pump the coin, and then they're the ones that buy in while you dump back down on top of it.
And this is interesting too. You guys would have seen this many times over. Sometimes you'll see a tweet or you'll see something that produces like an overview of, the top, let's say 10 ICO interests for different parties. And you might see a collective of, let's say, 10 different interest groups, or it might even be an individual. What I learned so far is that often that's a reflection of portfolios, not necessarily interest. Meaning that a lot of the time, these are actually investments from these people already signed and done. And so it's really important to be able to discern those that are actually encouraging and espousing, the knowledge, and those that already have that direct investment already preset before they speak. And there's a huge difference in that.
Yeah. I think it's really important to disclose that stuff. So you definitely have to, especially if you're going to have a community, if you're going to be an influencer like us, like we have a channel, we talk, people watch it.
Right.
And I've had a couple instances personally where I've covered even just news events, just news, not even crypto, just straight up crypto news, only to find out that a couple hours later after my video goes up that I covered
somebody
fake.
else.
Or somebody else covers it, or like the news turned out like to be debunked or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just like a hype story that somebody said, but it didn't really happen or something.
And you feel horrible because you're like, I read into it. All sources pointed to this being credible. I want to give this to you, and then like a couple hours later, it's like what happened with Substratum. Did you guys see?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I saw that. I remember vividly.
Yeah. And that's just crazy. So
another example,
I saw something about like Twitter getting hacked.
Yeah. So a sub got hacked. The guy from the Telegram ICO got hacked. Oh, there was another one that got hacked too.
It also happened to Zella, who I'd interviewed, and I had to go and speak and explain that because it was a legitimate situation that happened. But these do happen. What I find really frustrating also is in the social media space, sometimes you get impersonation happening where people will pretend to be you and slightly change, a Twitter handle, and then they'll try and sell ETH. I get that a lot, so you have to constantly be aware of people doing that.
The ETH thing is driving me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm getting bombarded with people trying to sell ETH.
Yeah. So guys, remember, if you see things where there's giveaways for ETH, remember it's most likely a scam because there's only, and get to know the handles of all the different people you follow because you certainly don't want to be scammed by anybody. But it does happen a lot.
Don't send anybody ETH, please, for the love of all that is holy. 99.9% of the time it's not. Like I was worried about is when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I did a giveaway. So I actually did do a giveaway, but I gave away stuff and people were on the channel and they received it, whatever. So I'm like, oh my God, I really hope that like people don't think that because I did one in the past, like I'm going to do one again. So I'm not doing any giveaways.
Awesome. Well, I do giveaways, but I only do them officially on my channel. And oh, it looks like somebody's joined.
I wonder who that is.
I have
We
no
have
idea.
Very, very mysterious. We'll see who pops up. So, yeah, I mean, as far as giveaways goes, I don't do giveaways. I do giveaways live. So, oh, you can't have, it says 4 people can't join.
Yeah, I know. I think they might be able to, but I don't know who it is. So I just kicked him out.
Okay.
That's
Well, can I be honest? I do know who it is. So, maybe you should let them join.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see if we can do it then.
Yeah, I have a little surprise for you guys. Everybody thought that I was making Binance trades under the table, but I wasn't.
Hey! What's up, dude?
Awesome.
What's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, nice.
And we can see your green and white screen. We like that.
I love it.
Let me put on my headphones. Sorry about that.
Oh, this is a good surprise.
No, this is a great surprise.
Chico's en la casa, in the house.
I just got done live streaming, actually.
I know, dude. That's why I couldn't get a hold of you. I wanted to get you on the live stream, bro. I want to get the whole band back together. You know,
Yeah,
I love it.
Band's back. Go Neo! Woo!
See, we needed him on the channel earlier when we were talking about Neo.
What were you guys talking about?
Oh, we were talking about everything, just about dApps and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So we just wanted to, yeah, I just thought it would be really great to get everybody on. I wanted Tyler to get. No, somebody wants to join you.
Someone wants to join? More people? Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not that popular.
What is this up here?
Who is this?
So now that we have Tyler and Brad and Alex and me on the channel, let's dive into more questions here. So Tyler, I didn't get to see your live stream, bro, because I was doing my own. But what were some of the big takeaways from the what coins are you looking at this week, man?
Definitely looking at ontology. The thing that I was talking about is there's no old all-time high of ontology it has to break through, like psychological, like Neo has, the 180. That's a psychological barrier that Neo is going to have to break through. So I'm a little bit more bullish on ontology for the next bull run. But yeah. I still love Neo, of course.
And what's interesting too, bro, like, and I'm sure Tyler would agree, is that what we don't know is we don't know the magnitude of the market. So with ontology, for example, everyone talks about it in billions, but the reality is with something like ontology, because it's this robust architecture, it's potentially in the trillions. And so I made the mistake personally, I've even said this to Tyler, is that, and you mentioned it today, Kyle, we may be underestimating the potential of that by looking at the metrics now, because we're not used to something this robust.
Yeah, no, I mean, the multi-chain, I mean,
cross-platform,
blockchain agnostic is huge. I mean, that's the future of blockchains. I mean,
and most importantly, bro, it's pluggable for not just blockchain, but it's pluggable for mainstream business. And that's something Tyler knows a lot about, but it certainly is. So potentially, like, if we want to get real, companies like Facebook could literally use ontology if they wanted to. Doesn't mean they're going to. I don't want to FOMO that crap, but it's possible because they can use it with the pluggability feature of ontology.
Mm-hmm. What else are you guys bullish on for this next bull run besides Neo ontology?
Bro, I like Solana.
Really?
I really do. Yeah, it's looking at high performance blockchain. I know we've talked about HPV and other ones, but they're making a claim about, I think it's something like 710 TPS, and that's not the big carrot, but what they're trying to do with the quality of tech. Look at their team. It's always, for me, partnerships and team that also drive interest for me. Mm-hmm. Solana is one to look at, and I'm telling you all right now, not many people are talking about Solana, and it's worth at least a look to explore and understand for knowledge, not financial advice.
I'm going to be completely honest with it. I've never even heard of it. So,
yeah.
Solana.
Well, basically, Solana, think of it like bright as the sun. It's got potential. They're looking at 2 proofs. One's called proof of history. Another one's called proof of storage. As Tyler would know, storage is a fundamental part of the equation. If they're not addressing storage, they're only doing half the job. So Solana's addressing both, and they're doing it with high speed, something to look at, because once again, They're public next. Their roadmap is very soon. We're not talking next year. We're talking MVPs. Talking June things to start roll out. So have a look at Solana and see what you think.
Tyler, people on my channel are asking you about Zebi. Now be kind because I'm heavily invested. How do you feel?
I think it's going to be good. I mean, I haven't done my research personally into it. I know it's India's big blockchain project. So, of course, I think that's a good, strategy to go after. Find a region and find the big blockchain project and invest in it. Zebi's going to do well.
It's also got links with governments. And that's just reality. Having spoken to the CEO as well, they're real. One of my concerns, I have to be totally honest, I was concerned about some of the news I read about the reactions of India, and how their aversions to blockchain generally. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But more importantly, I think is that, again, this is where the metrics really are valuable when you're researching. We're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but I think it was something like an 8 to 10 mil cap at the time. That's extremely, like 10. Okay. So you can see those numbers. You can see why that would attract certain interest in certain parties. That was enough to inject a lot of FOMO. But for me personally, it wasn't that I liked about it. And it never will be. It has to be real world connections. And they had them with those government real estate related interests. And beyond that too, it wasn't just real estate. It had a lot of application potential in universities and hospitals as well.
Yeah. That was what got me interested originally, is the fact that they already had things set up. They were already working. And that's what got me interested in, all these things like Icon. That's one of the reasons. Now, everybody asks me what's my biggest holding. Now, you guys know I'm a huge Neo fan, but Icon is my biggest holding. And it has nothing to do because I like Icon more than Neo. It's just that, like, when I first got into crypto, I only had a little bit of money, and I put most of that money, into Neo. And then as I began to grow my portfolio, I don't forget, I got into Litecoin when it was like $20, and then it went up to 300, and then it fell down. I took some of that profits and I slammed that into Icon. So Icon is my biggest holding, but it's not because I necessarily believe in it more. It just kind of happened. You know what I mean? We were talking about
the first one I ever bought, actually. Icon was the first thing I ever bought.
Really?
Well, obviously I bought Neo, so I suppose that doesn't count because I was just such a Neo fanboy like Tyler for so long, and I just buy it whenever. I bought everything, whenever it came up. I even paid, I think, up to 60 or 70 Australian dollars, which was insane for me at the time. But I used to always buy it. But then Icon was my first attempt. Because I'm an Aussie, I can do it. It was my first ICO. And to be honest, at the time, didn't understand that much about it, but I knew enough about its collaboration as permission and permissionless to know that it could be something quite good. But it was lucky.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it is too, though. I mean, it's intelligence, it's research, and then it's also a little bit of luck and a little bit of kind of hoping and praying.
Yeah, I agree.
I say it's 50-50.
Exactly.
50 luck, 50 research.
Yeah, and as Tyler and I talk about, and no friggin' TA. We're not into that. It's, you can do all the chart analysis you want and do it till the cows come home, but oh my God, come on.
There's some value in it. There's a tiny bit. But it's only when the markets are behaving like the stock market, which is only in full-on bull runs and full-on bear. When the market's in that limbo, TA does not work.
Yeah, because it's sentiment-driven. I think that the fundamental is more important.
But you can throw darts at a wall and be right in a bear. A full-on bull market.
Well,
like I kind of want to do that. The next one is just get a bunch of ICOs behind there and go, whoa.
Yeah,
that's actually a good idea.
We should do that and see who
portfolio does.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll all get a dart and we'll all throw it at the same dartboard with the different projects. We'll work it out, and then we'll work out who wins out of it for fun.
That's how I literally trade. I put the top 25 on a giant wheel that I have, spin it, and I just throw a knife like a ninja, and I just whatever lands.
That's the KDubb show, weekly special, guys. Watch the
guys. I'm sorry. Listen, I got to come clean. I've been lying to you all along. I'm just guessing. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, everybody. So somebody said, "What is all of our first investments?" Now, I think the answer is clearly Bitcoin. Fair enough.
No,
not me. Never, ever.
How'd you get into the system if you never bought Bitcoin? You come in with
Ethereum, Coinbase.
Yeah.
My first purchase was Ethereum when it was $17.
I bought Bitcoin off of local Bitcoins when it was $200 in 2013.
And I bought Ethereum only because I was converting into the real green. That's Neo. So it was just a conduit for
I bought it
Neo at the
because
time.
Bitcoin was too expensive and I didn't know enough, and I didn't like Litecoin because I was margin trading and I got burned on it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just buy Ethereum and hold it. And that was kind of the end of the story.
I actually used to love Litecoin. I'm not going to lie. I was in love with Litecoin for like a few months, like 2 or 3 months. I used to do all my trades in Litecoin because Ethereum was having a lot of network congestion at that time. And that was like just before the CryptoKitties incident, where it was actually more expensive to use Ethereum than it was to use Litecoin, which is a very rare instance, but that actually existed. So at that point, I was very bullish on Litecoin. And then as soon as Bitcoin started doing the Lightning and everything else, then it was kind of like, okay.
Oh, Lark's in the chat.
No way. That's awesome. Hey, Lark.
Hi, Lark.
Another one of the team.
Yo, tell Crypto Lark that I tried to message him. Tyler, if you weren't going to come in, I was going to have Lark come in, but unfortunately we're cheap and we only paid for 4 spots on this channel.
Oh, you got to pay for spots on this?
No, well, 4 is free, and then anything more after 4 you have to pay for. So maybe one day I'll do it.
Next time we'll do it. We'll do it.
If Crypto Lark wants to speak vicariously through Alex, I am more than willing to listen.
He just said hi, guys. He also said his mind was. You said something, and he said KDubb, mind blown.
Awesome.
I don't know what that means.
It just means it's a good thing.
Tyler,
like you did something that blew his mind.
BABB.
What's up?
Do you know anything about BABB?
Oh, BAB. Yeah, it's some like banking coin. I looked into it just like for a second. I didn't do too much because they didn't have working product or anything, but it's been moving. It's been moving up since I looked. I mean, when I first looked, it was only like 12, 13 million. And I think it's at like 30, 35 right now.
Another one that's under the radar, and this actually came from Tyler, from Chico, is that Stellar is underrated. It's just a fact. And that's
baby.
It is an absolute killer of a transactional value in terms of a blockchain project. Jed is one of the best in the world at what he does, if not the best. And quite simply, we don't even know what's coming for Stellar, I think. Wait until you see when it starts to become, applied as a transactional medium. Because it's very, very cheap, if not practically free. Wouldn't you say, Tyler? It's very cheap.
Yeah, no, it's one of the cheapest.
Yeah, and it's had a really significant downturn, for various reasons in the bear. So, yeah, it's one to watch. It's certainly one of the first I bought, and that was because of Tyler, actually. He was the one talking about it at the time with an interview he did.
I actually bought it because I didn't really like Ripple. So I bought it because I thought it was better tech than Ripple, and I figured Jed didn't stay with them because he wanted to do something different. So to me, in theory, Stellar should be, because it's a second project, it's like his evolution. I don't know, that's just how I've thought about it.
It's so true. And it's more decentralized.
Lark says his first purchase was Bitcoin.
Tyler loves Ripple. Just admit it, Tyler. You love Ripple.
I think it has its spot.
It has its spot. It definitely has its spot. It's just not an investment that I
don't like. No, I don't like it.
Just like Tangle has it. Just like Tangle has it.
Actually, I did buy it. I can't lie. I bought it one time. But I don't have it anymore.
I bought Ripple too when I first got it. I was like, yo, this is like 3 cents. I'm in.
Oh, I bought it once, and then it burned me, and I was like, never again. But I feel like that's how you get initiated into crypto. Ripple burns you.
I bought it because I liked the little icon when I was at the exchange. Like, oh, that's
a cool icon.
Yeah.
I agree.
But that was so stupid of me just to buy it because of icon, but I did.
No, I bought it because some guy made a fake video of like some code entered into Coinbase.
Yeah, that'll happen. If you watch too many YouTube videos, you start finding yourself making really poor decisions. Tyler is, I think, no, he's. Oh, you were cutting in and out. I think it's because you're in Chico and the internet service cuts out there, right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
So Nex, what do you guys think about Nex versus Switchio?
I don't know.
Easy one.
It's gonna beat its ass.
It's
gonna beat its ass.
The Neo team, you got to get on.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know enough about the Neo ecosystem.
Watch my channel.
No, Nex.
Watch Tyler's channel. Watch Brad's channel.
Nex is gonna be good.
In my opinion, I'm with Tyler. Tech talks for me, and the next tech talks louder than Switchio, but that doesn't mean it will be bigger because it's all about the support behind them. And as Tyler knows, the NGC are well and truly behind Switchio. So really, it's just I don't think it's a competition, to be honest. I think they'll both be
No.
very, very
They
successful.
were like, well, what do you, they said to me, well, Next versus Switcheo. I said, well, I don't really have a preference, but if I wake up tomorrow morning and I want to trade a Net5 token, I can on Switcheo tomorrow. I can't
You can.
on Next. So
But can you do fiat on
it's
Switcheo?
available. Excuse me?
Can you do fiat transactions yet on Switcheo? Because that's the thing to remember is with the built-in core design, the crypto to fiat, transactions will be possible. But this is the big kicker. People forget that Switcheo is one platform for essentially crypto to crypto exchange and potentially fiat. But as Tyler and I know from the research is that there's so much more in terms of a banking conduit, not an actual banking solution, but Next have a banking platform built in. And that's what sets them apart. And they have really big connections with big banks.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to actually cut you off, but agree with you as well, Brad, because they're currently at the Smart Economy Expo. And I found out that Next was actually heavily talking to the regulations, making sure that they're compliant and everything like that. So I do realize, like, you have those projects where, okay, you have the MVP, it's out now. But then you have the other guys that are kind of like holding back a little bit. They're making sure that everything is perfect.
Exactly.
All the worked out. They're up to the regulatory standards. So I do think that in the long term, Next could potentially be the biggest contender to Switcheo. But in the short term, Switcheo works.
I agree. I totally agree with you. And Tyler, remember, they're going for the security route. So their compliance measures are linked to becoming an official, legitimate security. How many are doing that?
Yeah. No, when Next comes out, the token's going to go freaking nuts, you guys. I wouldn't even doubt if it does a 10x.
I wouldn't either because the metrics, what are they, Tyler? They're 25?
25 million, yeah. I think is.
That indicates, I mean, and I love, to be honest, again, we're all advocates of fairness. I love the lottery. It was one of the best models to ensure that whales were precluded from manipulating the market. I didn't personally. I wasn't successful in the lottery.
Me either. I'm US.
I wanted to
get involved in it, so I couldn't even get any Next if I wanted to. So
yeah, I didn't realize.
I'm gonna get some right when it comes out, though. Like
I didn't realize that because I thought they were trying to include the US, so they mustn't have been able to do that.
Oh, I have a really weird, like trippy kind of inception question. Is Next going to be available on Switcheo, or is it self-contained?
Next, what I think Next wants to do, like when it comes out, Next wants their extension to be working. So you'll be able to trade Next for Neo right away.
Yeah.
But what about Switcheo being a Net5? Isn't Next a Net5?
Yeah, no, Switcheo could list it, but I don't think that. I don't know if they want to.
It's like Binance, where they're just going to keep it within the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It would make sense for Switcheo too because it would add volume to Switcheo.
It'd be a bit like Ethereum and Bitcoin adding each other.
Yeah.
I'm kind of waiting for community. The only two people that are linked up right now is me and Alex. So.
What's community?
People talking.
Oh.
Good questions. Good question.
No, I don't have questions from my community.
All right, so
live?
one of my friends just asked, will Next be decentralizing every component of the exchange?
They have an off-chain and matching engine, so no, it won't be fully decentralized.
Okay.
And that's important because that's the big difference between Switcheo and Next, in that by doing that off-chain matching engine, much like Loopring had their own off-chain matching engine, that's actually what makes them more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. That's a good question. That's actually a really good question. Sometimes you ever get like stumped, like somebody asks something and you're like, that would make.
Well, he's a good friend of mine that helps me out with a bunch of stuff all the time. He also just said that they should call themselves a hybrid exchange.
Yes, I agree.
I don't really know. I think about that. I mean, I think with the whole decentralization, that's the freedom. In the real world, we kind of we go to these like giant conglomerates, right? Like it's like, do you got an Apple or do you got an Android or do you got an iOS? Which one you got? There's only like two options.
I got Elastos OS.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think in crypto, there's not one or two options. There's like 50 different options.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the free market. You have the opportunity to decide where you want to.
Who you think's doing it better or whatever.
And the thing is, well, the reality is this is just my controversial sort of take on this is that there really is no authentically decentralized platform, startup, or project. And I say that because there's always a small degree, at the very least, of centralization in any model, except the original iteration of the white paper for Bitcoin, which was this utopian concept of, puristic decentralization for the libertarian, for, that maximalist who wants to circumvent authority. But for any project to really work right now, maybe later they'll relax these central controls, but NEO's a perfect example. There's fundamental centralized elements for it to be valuable. It cannot operate completely puristically decentralized right now. So yes, I'm an advocate for it to be centralized, but in the real world, come on, we need to make sure that it's done in the context with, its value in terms of a business proposition. And almost all projects have a degree of that.
So what do you guys think about this theory? So in the future, the Bitcoin owners and the crypto owners are going to be the rich elite, and they're going to create these citadels. Have you heard that?
No.
I don't know what that is.
I don't think
no, it's basically a city where the rich live and it's contained from the poor.
I heard the proposition of the island too, Tyler. What do you think about that?
And Puerto Rico is the first citadel being built as we speak.
Yeah.
We don't already have that though. Don't like the 1% all kind of like congregate in one little
but I
small
think
area.
he's meaning like they're gonna be like blockaded from the rest. Like it's gonna be like a compound. That's very what's that movie with the girl with the bow and arrow?
Oh yeah.
Hunger Games.
It's very Hunger Games.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also, once again, it removes the real element of interaction around with the real community from the equation. Because if you're going to build essentially a community, you're building almost a permission system. you're building a fenced-in design, and that's also what Roger Ver wants to do, to build out his utopian sort of island of BCH supporters, and that's fine. I'm not commenting on either of those things, but I just think they don't align with the real world. They just don't.
Yeah, my friend, the same person that's commenting, he said the Lightning Network processors will become the new elite, acting as the banks of the decentralized world.
Ooh, no, I could see that highly possible. Highly possible. Lightning Network is highly underrated. I've talked to a few guys who run some Lightning nodes, and they say it's junk right now, but it's in its infancy.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, the big risk I have actually, and we didn't even answer this before, is when you look at non-blockchain, highly permissioned systems that have huge consortiums behind them. So Hashgraph is a great example. What I am concerned about right now is actually those that don't sort of support the public blockchain design, or even those with a public conduit, but rather are advocates for really changing the enterprise game with no sort of public figure, or none of the public sort of constituents or participants in mind. So, Hashgraph does concern me, because behind that they have this company called Swirlds. And Swirlds is essentially 39 major players that are essentially really separate but backers of Hashgraph. So really that's no different to what you were saying before, Kyle, about elites. If you support this hierarchical nature of the current system, that is potentiated by one way that this could go. And I hope it doesn't. But certainly it is my concern that closed permissioned architectures, like we're seeing from certain bank conglomerates, as I mentioned before, with R3, Tyler, you know all about that, with some of the aspects of Hyperledger, even Consensus as a group, they are all trying to build out these private sectors. My concern is how far that actually goes and removes the public voice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Brad, that was pretty deep, man.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of topics. This has been a good little live stream.
I don't even know that I go that deep into crypto. Damn.
Well, it's just because it's on the forefront when we're looking at every project. Obviously, we want to make sure we have position in the future.
The thing is, private blockchain will never do as well as an open blockchain, because private blockchain can only have a certain amount of people working on it, while an open source blockchain can have the whole world working on it. Just think about that.
Right. And as long as we can as long as we can encourage and see the value for enterprises that aren't injecting their money into that, Tyler, that's what we want. We want to see them see the value in that sort of dual structure of the public and privatized systems working together, so that obviously that people like us can benefit from that technology.
Yep.
That's what we want to see. We want to see it be more efficient and more valuable for us as you.
Brad, somebody on my channel said Brad runs a blockchain in his pocket. Somebody. I'm sorry.
Electronium.
Say that. That was
Electronium mobile miner on his phone.
that
Hilarious.
actually made me laugh out loud, literally, guys. Oh my god, that was hilarious, dude.
Funny thing, I only just learned what the acronym was. Yeah, I definitely am that.
I'm very bullish on Electronium, just so you guys know.
Birthday. Anyway,
very bullish.
They keep wishing me happy birthday. My birthday's in December, guys.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
When is all your birthdays?
May 22nd.
Kyle's is today.
Today? Hey, happy birthday, Kyle. I didn't know that.
Not my birthday. Yeah, so I'm no longer KDubb because I'm Kyle.
Kyle. Oh, yeah, dude. You revealed his identity.
Oh,
you could get, I don't care what people call me. It doesn't matter. Kyle asked.
Oh, sorry. My name's not Brad. It's B.
No, it's BB, remember?
BB.
You're my baby.
Sorry, KDubb.
All right.
In your defense, I'm sure everybody kind of already knew what the K and KDubb stand for. I mean, there's only so many names.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Kyle. The cat's out of the bag. But I don't like the name Kyle because I feel like I grew up in the '90s and every single
guy
Alex.
Kyle.
Literally, if you look up the most popular name in 1990 for a female, it was Alex.
Alex.
And Kyle was like the dick that was like, "Yo, what's up, bro? You want to come?"
Alex Mack from that Nickelodeon show.
Yes,
Okay,
I
I'll never
had
call
like
you
10
that
Alexes
again.
in my class.
I'm just gonna call you K. Okay.
Just call me.
Okay.
Okay.
Now everybody knows my name. Now it's just be this big on running joke.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Somebody
Sorry,
on my
KDubb.
channel says it came out months ago, Kyle.
Okay, all right, guys. Seriously, let's get back. We're getting crazy at this point.
Off topic.
No, it's crazy. But
I like off topic. You know.
I like off topic too. I think it's fun because I think sometimes we burn ourselves out with crypto, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I have like had nights where I can't even freaking sleep.
It's put me in a depression twice.
Yeah,
Not
me
once,
too.
but
Actually,
twice.
I had 3 days where I was like in bed where I just couldn't get out because I was like I couldn't get to my computer. I really did.
Oh yeah, no, I hate crypto sometimes.
In our defense, it's a tough gig. It's tough to be consistent every single day and maintain that passion, that zeal for the people and for us. But, I'm really proud of us at the same time because we, as I was saying before, we want to be credible. We want to inject that into it. And
well, it was easier when I was when I first started in crypto because there's only Bitcoin and a few other projects. So my love was only in like a few places. Now my love spread through so many different projects. It just tears me apart.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing for me is just the research itself is wanting to try and find them early means you just got to be on point all the time. And people might think it's easy, just to present the information, but to do it as we do credibly, it just takes lots of time prepping.
Lots of time, yeah.
Yeah, and especially you, Alex. Holy shit. I mean, you're working 40 hours a week. That's just insane.
Yeah.
You still have a job?
Yeah, I work 40 hours a week and I manage this damn channel.
Oh, damn. I wouldn't be able to do it.
It's not easy.
Me either.
It's not easy.
You know what though, guys?
And do you edit all your videos too? No.
I shoot, I edit, I write, I research, I do everything. I don't have any outside help whatsoever, except like maybe talking to people for questions and stuff, but that's pretty much
I have a video editor. It helps.
Yeah, your green screen is phenomenal, by the way. I love your background.
James as well. Thank you, James.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, James. Call us, James.
Nay,
Yeah, meanwhile,
he would take it too. He loves freaking work.
No, I'm kidding. Tyler's is, Tyler, the quality of your channel is excellent.
No, Tyler, I agree. Your videos are of the highest of standards, dude. I mean, listen, my people know what I do. I get in front of a green screen, I read the news, I talk about it. That's it. Like I literally wake up every morning and I have no idea what I'm going to cover.
But your content, fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, bro. I try to find that balance between news.
All of your content's fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to add more news. I'd like to add a news segment. The problem is like that would have to cut into some time of something else, and I'm not really sure what I can dial back yet. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I would like to do news stuff too, for like my sake, so I'm up to date and in the loop because I miss so much crap.
Me too. I agree. I'm so busy talking to CEOs, and that might seem like it's really exciting, but it's not to do that all the time. Not the only thing to do. Like I don't get to.
I
read
want
news.
Brad's old videos back. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
no, I need to have the coffee and just chill and
Tell those
I'll-
CEOs to
Pound
not
sand.
yeah.
Yo,
not
Brad,
suck it.
Brad, Brad, when I first started watching you, dude, you used to chill, and I could hear like the crickets in the background.
Yeah, that was because my kids were not there for the crickets were there. My kids weren't.
Well,
You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So everyone's asking because I made a video about this. Now, it was completely unbiased. I was just talking about it. They're asking on my channel. Has any of you looked into U Network, UUU?
Everybody's
Heard about
asking
it.
over here too. I've
guys
never
have
heard of it.
Heard
Competitive.
about it. Haven't had time to look yet.
Sorry, guys, that's me too. I have to be honest. No,
I'm the only
deep dive into U Network.
But isn't that good though? That it's obviously something pretty fresh.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well,
Bring
if
it
you
to
guys
the
want me to break it down, I'll break it down to you real quick. Essentially, U Network. Okay, so you have Steam It, right? Steam It, you have Steam Dollar, Steam Power, etc.
Oh, it's a Chinese Steam It, basically.
Right, but the difference is that on U Network, what happens is that when you upvote something, you actually have to pay to upvote it. And when you do that,
Ooh.
you're not only paying, you're investing in the content. And if the content explodes or does well, you
You
are
get money.
compensated.
I love
for
social media platforms.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's good.
That's
a
good.
good
I'm
idea.
gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, it's a different approach. Like instead of just being like, oh yeah, me and my friends, we got a bunch of power, we're gonna upvote it. No, totally different.
You have to
Upvote quality.
invest in that content. I
That's
like
a pretty
it.
cool concept.
It's different, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
they're
like that.
very early though. They're very, very early. They have like at least 4 quarters ahead in their roadmap. And guys, in crypto, 4 quarters is like 10
That's a
decades.
long time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exactly.
that's an eternity.
Definitely.
No,
Good
my
find.
birthday. I'm sorry.
Good find.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
All right,
I'll
guys,
look
I
into
think I'm gonna go because I want to finish eating and I got some stuff to do still because I got to go to bed for work.
That sucks.
Yeah,
I'm pretty-
Alex, thanks
sure.
so much, Alex.
CryptoCandor, if you leave, do we all get deleted since it's your page?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I can
Think
leave
so?
it running and just sign out myself, but I think you guys are in here. It's a public page. I'm pretty sure you guys will be in here if I cut out. Because
Well,
you
we
were
can
in
try.
here before I was. Remember when we tested earlier?
You want to try it, and then if it doesn't work, well, sorry for everybody that's watching.
Yeah. So I'll do a
Yep.
3, 2, 1, and I'll close the window. And if everybody's gone, we're gone.
That being
Okay,
said,
well-
KDubb, this is CryptoZombie. Until next time, peace out. Okay.
And bye.